Today you have Brooke.
Hi.
Brooke doesn't always join us for these Tuesday things.
It's nice to be here on a Tuesday.
Yeah, but she's got a little bit of a cold. She thinks her throat is crackly. But since we were talking about winter, I think she's the perfect person to be on video talking about winter.
Right. With my cracking voice, because winter is approaching and this is happening to many of us.
Almost winter.
Almost
winter. Not quite yet. It feels a little like it's winter, but
it's pretty much like winter.
Yeah. So we wanted to talk about winter because with houses and home ownership and even renting,
Right.
winter affects us. First of all, walk scooping.
Right.
Yeah. Did you scoop your walks this weekend?
I defer to my husband.
Scooping this weekend. Smart.
But I do feel like that first real cold we get kind of brings out the faults and things, and we realize what isn't working right or what
It does.
Right. Yes.
That's when
always
your
the worst
tape
time.
freezes up because
Right.
the heat tape's not working and whatever
Yeah.
things that were a problem, and then you have to go out and deal with it in the cold, right?
Yeah, cold brings it out.
Yes. So we have winter tips for you guys today. Some starting with the very simple that kind of work for everybody, whether you own your house or whether you rent your house or whatever. Like taking advantage of the sun, which we have none of today.
Right. No, we
There's
don't. But I mean, heating costs regardless, and there's different ones out there that are going to be more efficient and not cost as much.
Yeah.
But this time of year, we're all paying for it, so figuring out what we can do to cut those down, and the sun is a great.
It is, and I think about like some of the houses that we've had on the market recently had really great windows, like south exposure windows, and you could feel the difference, even though their thermostat was set the same. You'd walk in and be like, this house is super warm.
Right.
So, I mean, we don't, like, my house doesn't do so good for that. But it's something to think about when you're shopping, too.
It is. It's great to consider when you're out shopping. And both ways with that, having your blinds, your curtains open when you have the sun and absorbing that. But I do notice in my house we have large windows.
When the sun is
Covering
gone.
those up as soon as that sun's gone. Yes,
even with good, like your house is pretty new.
Yeah,
so you've got nice windows. I have old windows, and we have the like heat blinds.
Right.
And it really makes a big difference.
Huge difference.
And we keep those down, especially the one next to my bathtub. If I want to take a bath, I need to have that down, or I can feel.
Or you're gonna freeze in the bathtub.
Feel the cold. It takes a lot of hot water to make up the difference.
Right. And it doesn't take much to cover sliding glass doors, French doors, anything that has a lot of window space.
Yeah.
As great as that light is, once we lose the light, getting that covered up, and it makes such a huge difference for the drafts.
Retain it within the house as much as possible.
Exactly.
Yes.
Okay, so let's talk about thermostats, setting the thermostat. I'm going to be honest, we are terrible about this. Our thermostat stays at the same temperature day and night. We just maintain. Now, my little house we're working on, I put one of those really cool Nest thermostats in there.
Is that the ones you run with your phone too, right?
Right. Like you can check it with your phone. But what I learned about that is apparently they learn you. If you're not living in a house, it's difficult for your thermostat to learn you. But point being,
so you're making it, you're testing your
right.
Of course you
know
are.
me. But there's a lot of options out there. Are you better to let your house cool down during the day when you're away and then heat it back up? Are you more efficient to leave it?
See, I've heard different schools of thought on that, and also I think it depends on the type of heat you have.
Agreed.
Like I think with gas hot water heat, it seems to be like consistently leave it alone.
Right.
But with electric or forced air, I think maybe at least flexing it a little bit is probably worth it. We have a zoned furnace, so we keep way less heat in our master bedroom than we do in the house, part of the house we live in more, and like Remy's area and stuff.
Right.
So that's really nice, but I think the key is figuring out what works for you, and sometimes I think it has to do with how long you're going to be gone. If you're only going to be gone for 4 hours, I think it probably makes no sense to let it cool off.
To adjust that, right.
Because it has to work so hard to catch up. But if you're gone for 10 hours a day, you've got to have some savings from letting it go down at least a little bit, right?
I would think.
I mean, there's probably an expert out there who
I'm sure that could tell us something here.
But I definitely think paying attention to your thermostat, maybe not keeping it as high as you want it.
Yeah.
To save you money, put on a hoodie, put on some socks, dress a little warmer, save a little money.
Right.
That's what Dave Ramsey would say.
I think that's a great advice. Obviously, any kind of wood stove, pellet stove, anything like that would be an alternate heat source is going to help significantly. Sure. We use wood, and I love our wood heat. That makes such a difference.
Love it. It's a little dirty and it's a little work,
right?
It's such
but
a
there's
nice
something to be said
coziness
for going out and chopping in Hollywood, right?
There is.
Most days.
I think there is. Most days. Except when it's really cold and you're like, oh, I gotta haul more wood to the house. What the heck? I actually got, I don't know if you guys have seen them on Facebook. Mm-hmm. They're like a hoodie, but they're a blanket. It's like a cross.
You really did it.
Like it. I didn't get it for me. I didn't get it for me. I got it for my sister for her birthday.
Oh, I don't.
And she swears by it.
Yeah. Oh, she's got it already. Okay.
Yeah.
How we ruined the surprise.
No. Her birthday was last week.
Okay, perfect.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
How
very
fun.
Nice. Yeah, she says it's great. And she's one of those cold-blooded people, so even if she keeps her house at 70, she still thinks she's freezing.
I have a sister like that.
So,
yes.
I just think she just needs to eat a sandwich and she'll retain more heat.
Makes sense. Makes total sense. Okay, retaining heat. Finding and sealing leaks. Figuring out. I mean, and it can be anything depending on the efficiency, the type of windows. Some of your older windows, I really feel like you're better off to just go ahead and buy the seal kits that you can pick up from Ace or wherever. Mm-hmm. Yeah. Seal your windows off for the winter and keep that heat retained in.
Yeah, and around your doors, the rubber around your doors wears out.
Right.
And then when you can see light through the crack, you're probably letting
we're losing some air there,
yeah,
right?
Exactly.
But even the little, we use the little sandbag draft stoppers at the bottom of our fridge doors, and that makes a big difference. I mean,
just those little things can make such a big difference. And if you want to know, this is kind of interesting, but if you wanted to know where you're losing heat because you wanted to just be really diligent about it, you could have Jason come with his little, what is that thing he uses for home inspections? Yeah, he does the infrared, and it'll show like where the air is coming through your walls and stuff more. And I mean, some things I guess in real life you just can't practically fix.
Right, and I mean, there's going to be a window that's going to be more of a heat loss source, but if it's a significant one, maybe that's something you prioritize on an update.
Yep.
If you know you're consistently losing
windows someday, that would make my house more efficient.
Yeah. Yes, they're so nice, that's for sure.
They're also expensive, so you have to plan for it.
Right.
Yeah. But just tips, tricks. You could cover them with plastic, especially if you're in a rental and the windows are bad and you obviously aren't going to save to buy new windows there. You're going to save for a down payment to buy your own house.
Right.
So you could put plastic on so that you could save more money.
Yeah.
Yep. So that's kind of useful too.
And we're kind of getting into the thick of things at this point. Temperatures have dropped quite a bit, but maintaining whatever systems you have. Yeah. Obviously, windows are part of that, keeping your sills clean, keeping things so that they're closing tight. But furnaces, electric,
sure
whatever.
Efficiently. Yeah. Your filters are clean.
Right. Yeah, and there's different companies also that will come in and actually do services and check everything over for you if it's something you're not comfortable doing yourself.
It also avoids surprises by doing that because, of course, Murphy's Law would have it be that the middle of winter would be when your furnace would just kick the bucket.
Negative 30, right? That's when those things seem to happen.
Yes. Yes, we've had that to happen to people before, and it's not fun at all.
Yeah.
And you can't always, a furnace isn't something where you pick up the phone and call your heating guy and go, hey, my furnace went out and he's there in 10 minutes and it's all fixed and fabulous.
This is the process.
It takes a few days of misery. Misery because it's going to be cold.
Yeah. Go visit family if your furnace goes out.
Yes, but also winterize your house too.
True.
Blow out those lines, shut off that water, whatever.
Right, and that's a really good point is talking if you're not home, if you have your home on the market. And these are conversations we have with our sellers for sure.
Yeah.
If a home's sitting vacant, winterizing, shutting off the water.
Shut off the water.
Yes. Yes.
Yes. And we actually, one of the reasons we do that is we had some people, they did everything right.
Mm-hmm.
They had their heat on. They were keeping it at like 55, so showings weren't miserable for prospective buyers, and all was well with the world. Well, the furnace went out, and then the furnace went out, and then the pipes froze, and then the pipes burst, and then water went everywhere. It was disaster area,
Right.
and that's when we started telling everyone, you know what, we do want you to have the heat on, but we don't always trust heat systems, and so shut that water off, maybe get it winterized, and it's better to spend the money to turn it back on when you get a buyer for home inspections.
Yeah, and
than to take that risk.
In the scheme of things, having your home winterized is such a small fee
For
in
peace of
comparison
mind.
to, yes.
I would be that person waking up at 2 a.m. wondering, oh my gosh, how's my house, and does anything happen, and just bad.
Right,
So,
right. Now,
super important.
if you're not going to be gone long term, but you are going to be on, and it feels like Christmas break, we always get those sub-zero temperatures, and everybody's traveling during that time.
Mm-hmm.
We were having a conversation before we came on live about turning water on and leaving it running, and the different ways that may or may not be effective for you.
Right, so I always heard dripping, and then someone told me, no, don't drip, you need a stream.
Uh-huh.
I don't know if I'd do that if I was out of town. I think I'd shut off my main valve, but if I'm gonna be, even just around here when we get those super below, and like we have in our house, one of our showers is on an outside wall.
Yes.
So that one always gives us a little more temperamentalness when it gets super cold. And so those areas, if you leave a stream of water, also especially like if you live in a trailer house or an older house, if you open your cupboard doors, you can do that. And if you catch that something's starting to freeze early, just sticking a space heater nearby it can keep you from having bigger, longer term
issues with that.
problems. Yes.
Yeah.
The sooner you unfreeze it, the better. So if your hot water is not turning on, that's because it froze first, because hot water always freezes first. And then, did you know that?
I had no idea.
It does.
That seems so backwards to me.
Rental properties. This is what you learn from rental properties. And so then you put that space heater in there, and that way you can unfreeze that before you have everything frozen.
Wow.
So, yeah, so that's kind of good to know important things that could be useful as winter's coming. So,
right, yeah, lots of things just to think about, and always, if there's any questions, if you guys need recommendations of people that might be able to help with different things, we have great contacts.
if you're trying to not freeze, or if you've already froze,
Right.
we're always happy to help, because some of these things we have definitely learned from experience, because we've been around and done some of them. So we're happy to help, and hopefully nobody has any broken pipes this winter.
Right, we can all just enjoy our beautiful snow while we winters.
Yes.
Thank you for
Have a
joining
great
us
day, guys.
Bye-bye.